I promised to not look into my boyfriend's past, but I did, and I regret it.
It's tempting, wasn't it?
I don't even know how to begin to describe this. Anyway, about 2 years ago, a friend introduced me to Michael, and we hit it off and started dating. About a month into dating, he tells me that he's done many bad things in the past.
What do you mean bad things? Illegal things?
I don't know. And that he's essentially been trying to turn over a new leaf a year before we met. I didn't want to pry too much, so I just asked if any of it was something serious, like a felony or jail time. He said no. He just lived a very reckless lifestyle and emotionally hurt a lot of people, including his family, but he was trying to make amends.
Well, misdemeanors count, so you should ask him about that.
He's like, I didn't go to court. By the way, this comes from Stupid Curious Girlfriend, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/okstorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
And I'm Vincent.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, after dating for a few months, I sensed that he's sincere, so we make our relationship official. He's been very upfront with me about anything I ask about his past, but I can see that it hurts him to dredge everything up again, so I try not to unless it involves something that can hurt our relationship.
Oh.
However, about 6 months into our relationship, he sits down with a very serious expression and tells me he has something to confess. This is The Drama, starring Zendaya and Robert Pattinson.
Please don't spoil whatever that is.
I actually haven't seen it, so I don't know, but this is the trailer for The Drama.
It is doing everything in me not to just look it up. I think he's a serial unaliver.
I will say, before we find out what it is, honestly, I'm surprised that OP didn't dig further sooner. Because I feel like if someone says, I had some stuff in my past, I'd give it like a little bit of time. I'd say, I don't want to pry. But then after like a month or so, I'd be like, we should talk about that. What was that about?
Yeah.
What was in your past? Tell me.
Yeah, I kind of did that with Angie. I waited until like 5 months in. And I was like, yo, by the way, blah.
Yeah. I think at a certain point you get close enough to someone.
Let's see what
specify.
it is. Because I think 6 months in.
Could be reasonable.
There's a line. The line would be that you cheated. If you didn't tell me that you cheated before this, then...
Like in a past relationship?
Yeah.
And I feel like the longer you go without telling your partner this, the worse the thing is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He says it's the worst thing he's ever done and that he wants me to know so I can leave if I can't accept it.
You put peanut butter on it.
Ew.
Gross.
Dude, every
That's
high school,
terrible.
there's at least one guy that's done that.
That's terrible. Actually, editor, can you just bleep what Riley said?
Only the members would know. But members, please.
Don't tell anyone, though, what he said.
Don't tell them what I said. But guys, do you guys agree there was at least one dude in some high school that had that story? Didn't that happen in your high school,
different
Vincent?
high schools.
Mine was a little bit different, but there's always like one person who like is accused of
Doing that?
with an animal.
We had a guy who like purposely peed all over the walls and stuff.
Okay, that has nothing to do with an animal, though.
That's just a funny bit.
I thought we were talking about crazy stuff.
We had a kid that would poop on the floors. This is,
You know what? Whatever. He then confesses that he was in a corn video when he was 22, just earned some money, and for the heck of it. It's actually not as bad as I thought it would be.
Okay, depends on how far we went. There was a streamer that came out recently. His name was Sketch.
Yeah.
And it turns out that he had an OnlyFans account where he had a totally different lifestyle than he was as a streamer.
Yeah.
He let it out and people were like, dude, you're fine. Don't worry about
He's
it.
like, I'm sorry. And they're like, it's okay.
But Storm Kitten's asking the question. I'm wondering what kind of though.
Let's see if he says.
Because corn's a spectrum.
It's true.
Yeah. And is it one video or is it like he had a career in it?
That's, yeah. Good questions. He sounded very remorseful and said it was the biggest regret of his life. I had to admit I was quite shaken by that admission, and we took a quite long time to talk it over until I decided that it was something from his past, and he had been honest with me all along, so it was something I felt I could accept him for. I asked if the video was still in circulation or easily found, and he said it was still on a few sites the last time he checked. He begged me not to look for it because he didn't want to hurt me anymore, and after more begging and pleading on his part, I promised not to look for it.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
That would eat me alive on the inside.
Oh, no. What would you guys do? Put in the comments 1 or 2. 1, look up. 2, respect his wishes.
3, start a new career with him.
I'm gonna admit I'm human, and the thought of hunting down the video did cross my mind a few times, especially when I was wasted, but I tried my best to keep my promise. Now it's coming to 2 years, and we've talked about getting married, buying our own place, and making other financial plans. We've started looking for a place, and he posted something on Facebook about being excited to go house hunting with me. Oh no. Tagging me in the status. Uh-oh. I feel like people are going to find her and be like, is this your fiance?
Are his old fans going to come out of the woodwork?
I worry. A few hours later, I get a PM from one of his exes, who I know is still a bit hung up on Michael. She was one of the people he emotionally hurt in their past relationship. She warns me against settling down with a major a-hole and says there are things in this past I don't know about and that I should probably investigate further before I throw my life away. Probably the best thing is to not respond, but I would be like, girl, I already know.
See, that's such a... When it comes from an ex of your current partner, it's such a 50-50 coin flip.
Yeah.
Because they could be absolutely telling the truth from their point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And we know Michael's gone through a very good arc.
Yeah.
Or these might be things hidden under, the rug. Mm-hmm. And we should be known by it because he may have done the same things to her. We don't know.
We don't know. So this person on Reddit says, am I the a-hole for refusing to take my wife back after she cheated just to see if she still had it?
Oh God, that's pretty rough. But OP, I got something for you.
Oh yeah? What's that?
Let's come to our live show, May 23rd at the Stray Theater in Hollywood.
Wait, how does that help his marriage?
It won't. It will help his confidence though. Show starts at 7. And OP, bring whoever you love or whatever's left.
I like this advice.
And if you want to come too, go to okop.show and get your tickets there for just $20.
We'll see you there. Looking back, I know I should have just ignored her message, but one of my major flaws is that I'm hot-tempered and impulsive, and something just flared up in me when she assumed that Michael hadn't been forthcoming with me. I replied and told her that I knew everything and to keep her nose out of our business. She didn't reply for the rest of the day, but when we got home yesterday night and Michael was in the shower, I saw she had sent me a link to a corn site along with a sarcastic enjoy.
Oh,
and that's when you know, like, she is the issue.
Yeah, she's just being malicious at that point. Like,
enjoy this.
This is going to mess with your head.
I would, I know it's not true, but I would just respond, already saw it. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, I like the part at the end.
I really, really shouldn't have clicked on the link, which is something I'll regret forever. But I did, and the video was that of a girl and quite a few guys taking turns. And then I saw a very familiar tattoo, and my heart sank when I saw a much younger Michael. He was skinnier then, with blonde hair. At that point, I had to slam my laptop shut, and I left the apartment in tears, and I stayed over at a friend's. Michael kept calling and texting to ask where I had disappeared to, and I just texted him that I needed some time to myself to think, and I promised I would call him once I had my head together. I have no idea how to approach this with him. Essentially, I broke my promise to him never to watch the video, and he's going to feel betrayed because I had already said I would accept him despite this mistake. Now it's wrecked my entire perception of him, and all I could see was the younger Michael with this other woman, and it hurts so much that I can't breathe. For now, I definitely can't see myself even having spicy sleep with him again without the woman's face popping up in my mind. I don't know what to do and how to approach him about it.
Take a beat, OP.
I don't know. Take a beat.
Breathe.
Yeah, Good Morning Petty Potato says, so typical corn, remember they're just actors. Yeah. I don't know if I would have the same reaction to this because I am an actor. Obviously not in that field. But no, just in the sense of like, it feels like OP's having an emotional response as if this woman had a relationship with her boyfriend when that's not the case.
Well, I would probably have a typical response to how OP is doing.
Yeah.
If like I learned that about the person I was with, I'd be very hurt. Like, ooh, this is different. I view you differently. I know this is probably for a video in circumstances where you had to do XYZ, because that's what the audience wants. But still, you engaged in this sort of, to me, spiritual entanglement where that's going to hurt the way I view this.
However, he had already given her that moment in the past, Like 6 months in, he said, I was in this video. Are you still comfortable being with me?
But
So you might have said in that instance, you might have said, hey, I don't know if I can be. I don't know if I'm comfortable with that. And that would have been the moment. But OP already knew about it. He told her not to watch it. But she knew what she would have found.
That is true. We're human.
Yeah.
Another part was a type of video. I mean, I don't know if that
It's
really...
pretty typical.
That's typical?
I mean,
Is that what we're watching nowadays?
Group situations.
I feel like that's pretty common. It wasn't anything like super crazy.
That's not crazy?
I mean, I don't know. It's not stuff that I don't watch that, so I don't know. But from what I've heard, it doesn't sound super crazy.
Okay, type 1 of this is crazy. Type 2 if it's not. I don't know if this is crazy or not. I think this is crazy.
But also, I think that's coming from the idea of like just corn in general being crazy.
I guess this does open up the what is Riley's typical corn search history.
I don't need to know. I don't need to know.
I will tell you this.
No, please don't.
I was just going to tell you it involves ankles mainly.
What? Concerned. And Good Morning Petty Potato says she does need to inform him that his ex is actively sending his corn to people. Absolutely. Because that's a huge violation of privacy.
Yeah, that could be, I think revenge corn is like a punishable offense, like a felony or something.
It is. I don't know if she would be prosecuted for anything, or I don't think she would be in trouble because it technically is online and he put it online willingly.
Because this could be looking like marketing.
Yeah, he's like, thanks.
If he gets a cut of the video still.
But we've got some relevant comments. Rima Deform says, I feel like this is probably just the shock. She needs to go talk to him, but I don't think her taking time away to calm herself and think rationally is a bad thing in this situation. I agree. Knowing about something and then actually seeing it are two very different things. And I think people probably get over it after really thinking about it. I honestly think that most of us would have had a difficult time not clicking the link if it was presented. She didn't go looking for it herself, and she didn't break her promise to him. Should she have looked? No, but I don't think many of us would have been able to ignore the curiosity. She ran out on him because of the shock. I think that everyone is allowed to be surprised about seeing something like that, even if they knew about it beforehand. I doubt that this will be a huge issue given a bit of time, because he was honest and upfront with her. She just needs a bit of time to get over the initial shock.
Agreed.
Yes, I agree. I think this was like a big reaction, but I think she just needs a minute.
A minute will help here. And 2, hot take.
What?
If you would have told me about this video, I would have looked it up 6 months in. I think...
You as in...
Me as this person. I am OP now.
Yeah.
I would have looked at it because I need to know.
But then you would probably have ended the relationship, no?
Fair.
Because it seems like that's your boundary.
I would probably end the relationship there because at a certain point, probably Vincent can help me chime in here. At a certain point in the relationship, this is what I would want. You're going to choose to this thing called Your Mess is Mine, My Mess is Yours, Your Mess is Mine, Vincent Joy, search up that song. You're basically going to be taking the burden of whatever that person's gone through and been like, we are no longer this, we are this. 2 years in, you're closer to being this than you are this. Because here, 6 months in, you're safer. You're more, I can take a choice to do this. We're not as enmeshed. I'm not going to lose much. But now here, it's like, we've been together for 2 years.
2 years.
This is a make or break. Are we here or are we here?
I honestly think this is a good litmus test of like, are we ready for marriage or not? Because like, if she could be like, you know what? Saw this video. It came out. I'm sorry I watched it. And he is okay with, that happened. And they can move past it. I feel like they are, they've been through something hard and they're ready. Maybe not immediately, but like in a year or two.
Yeah.
But we've got an update.
Good morning, Petty Potatoes. This is a really good question. What if the vindictive ex sends it to OP's family or his job? What if he has kids and sends it to the school?
And at that point, you would get the authorities involved because that's an issue.
Golly, you know how many lawsuits we're probably going to hear in the next 20 years of that?
Yeah, a lot. But we've got an update. Most of you were right. I did overreact. In my heightened emotional state, I wasn't able to think clearly, so I did the first thing that came to my mind. I fled. But I knew immediately that my running out had been a mistake, so I instantly called Michael when I left my friend's place and told him I was coming home. He sounded relieved but worried, and the concern in his voice just made me feel like the hugest witch in the world. I apologized repeatedly and told him I love him very much, and that I would explain everything when I got home from work. I had the whole day to process my thoughts, and I knew that I was absolutely the one in the wrong, because I had promised him to accept him despite his past, as well as not look at the video.
All right.
I'm glad that you are recognizing this. And this was pretty much a slap in the face for him. Now that I've had time to cool down, I know I just have to try and put the video out of my mind, because I'm not going to throw away our wonderful relationship because of something he did so long ago.
Yeah.
When we both got home, I could see he was sitting on the couch with a very worried expression, so I immediately went up to him and hugged him for the longest time.
Oh.
Once I was calm, I told him what happened with his ex and the video, and he just nodded, saying he already suspected what had happened because he had received a message from her too, saying that he had no right to trick some unknowing girl into settling down with him. I hate this woman. Neither of us have her as a Facebook friend, but apparently she stalks his profile and mine, so he set his profile to private and urged me to do the same. But I wanted to talk about our relationship first, so I apologized again for watching the video and said I knew I broke my promise to him and I shouldn't have done that. Here his eyes got a little red, and I felt so awful. Michael rarely cries. I assured him that I still love him very much, and I hoped he could forgive me for this transgression, and I had reacted like that due to the shock of seeing the actual video. Some of you had said the same thing in my previous post. It is one thing to know about the video. It's another to actually see it. By the way, I hope you guys go watch our videos and podcast episodes by going to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Spicy work, baby. It's tricky, you know. You can make a buck, and it's probably 5 times the amount you'd make anywhere else. It has consequences, and it could hurt other people depending on who you're with.
But it seems like these people are good. It seems like he was honest.
Yeah.
It does actually seem like we've seen some growth, which is really nice from like his previous younger life.
Yeah. Michael definitely hit rock bottom, and I think his ex helped him get there.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like his ex is a very good person either.
not at all. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
she sounds pretty awful. But we've got a little bit left. I'm proud of y'all for working through this.
Yeah. I think it's good that they're not holding it against him because I don't feel like any of us should be judged for our worst day. You know?
I agree. And also, it's a thing that people do for money. It's a thing that people do because they enjoy it. There are many reasons. I don't think you should be ashamed as long as you're honest.
Yeah, at the beginning of the story, I really felt like Michael has not forgiven himself.
Yeah, I think he has a lot of shame. And I think maybe going to therapy and knowing that, like, I don't think there is shame in doing something for, you know, like that. Like, as long as you're not in a relationship, you're not, you know, everyone's aware that needs to be aware. But also, when you no longer want to do it, then you no longer want to do it, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Michael said he understood why I reacted like that, but he admitted to being angry and hurt. He asked me if I truly was okay with having seen the video, and I said it was something I have to keep working on. We went on to talk about issues with me being impulsive and flying off the handle. I agreed to work on it. He also hesitantly asked me if I had told Laura, the friend whose place I stayed over at, about the video, but I swore that I hadn't told anyone else because he had trusted me in confidence. After that, things seemed better. We still have a few issues to work out, but I think we're going to make it. Thank you, everyone who seemed to 100% understand where I was coming from, and thank you to those who called me on my BS. I come from a very conservative Christian household, so the corn thing is extremely taboo for me. This makes a lot of sense. But I understand it's in Michael's past, and we only need to be concerned with our future. And that's it.
So she forgave him.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he forgave her.
I resonate a lot with you, OP. I see where you're coming from. That's a tough one. But it seems like he's changed.
Yeah.
Turned around.
But that is the end of that story, and we've got another one coming right up.
Yay! I love stories. I lied to impress my girlfriend's father, and it made everything much worse.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
So this was last night, and I honestly feel sick about it, honestly. My girlfriend's dad is one of those guys who barely talks, and somehow that makes it worse. Like, he just sits there looking at you for 2 seconds too long, and you start hearing your own IQ drop.
It's like the dad in
Yeah,
in
what movie?
Luca, the one with the unibrow, and he's like...
By the way, this comes from Paulina in Price, and if you want to submit your own stories, you know where to go. My name's Riley.
My name's Sophia.
My name's Vincent.
And together, We're Team Rocket.
And we're here to tell you goofy stories, and you're here to comment down below if you have anything you want to add. Opie says, he works with electronics or repair stuff, some kind of circuit wizard job. I don't remember the exact title, but the real actual technical work, not restarting a router and calling it IT like me. We were having dinner at their place, and he mentioned this old stereo of his was making a buzzing noise and cutting out sometimes. And for some reason, my dumb self goes, oh yeah, sounds like a loose connection. I've fixed stuff like that before. I have not. I have never fixed stuff like that before.
That's so funny. He just really wanted to talk to this guy. He's like,
He just really wanted to impress him. That's the only thing.
Can't blame him.
I have a friend who was telling me about a time that she accidentally lied about a trip that she had never gone on, just because kind of similarly her mind went a little bit faster, and then she's like, I have to double down. She's like, I didn't mean to say that, but now I have to double down.
It's so much easier to lie nowadays.
Yeah, you just keep it going.
Really, honestly, anybody would believe you. I think one time I unplugged a modem and plugged it back in, and I acted like a hero. That is a level we are working at with here. He just looked at me and said, want to take a look? Not rude, not excited, just said it. So now I'm either having to admit I was talking out of my backside in front of everyone, or I follow him to the garage and pass away there. We go out there and he puts the stereo on the bench, opens it up, and instantly my whole body does that hot cold thing because it was just wires and boards and a little metal bits everywhere. Not movie wires either, actual tiny weird components where if you breathe wrong, you will probably ruin someone's childhood. I should have bailed right then. I should have laughed and said, haha, nah man, I was kidding. Instead, I started doing this pathetic performance where I leaned in, pointed at random stuff, said things like, yeah, okay, I see the issue. Or maybe the connection here, which is insane because I did not see anything. He was just standing there too quiet, watching me self-destruct in real time. And I swear that somehow that kept me keep going. Because if he had said, dude, stop, I probably would have stopped, but he didn't.
He's just staring at you.
Maybe he thought I knew what I was doing. Or maybe he knew I was an idiot and wanted to see how far I would take it. I could see myself being in this situation.
Yeah.
Me too.
It's an easy one.
Yeah.
Take out your phone, take a couple of pictures, be like, looks like I can't help you. I thought it was this. Turns out it's this.
Yeah. There are so many ways that you could have looked it up. As Katie Paladin says, you could have used, I don't know, not that I advocate, but like ChatGPT in this moment. You could have just said, yeah, oh wait, this looks like a more complicated issue.
Yeah, Google it, OP, or find a YouTube video. Easy. Dad can probably tell OP he was talking out of his butt. I don't know how old OP is. He's probably like 20, 21.
Yeah, I bet. Tracks.
I just like the idea he goes over to it, kicks it, like, oh yeah, I know what this is a fun sketch to do. Just doubling down.
No, I know how to do it.
It's like, are you sure?
Yep. Don't question me. I'm gonna fix it.
Are you sure?
It's smoking now. I know how to do it.
Anything for the plot. You guys should write this down. Either way, I kept touching things I absolutely should not have touched. When I saw this one little plug or wire or whatever that looked crooked to me, and instead of using my words like a normal person, I pulled it out. Not carefully either, just kind of yanked it. Because in my head, I was like, okay, this is the moment where I find the problem and look competent. Immediately, there was this sharp little pop sound and then nothing. Just silence. Mind you, he's working on a stereo.
Not a good sign.
I
Not
mean,
a good sign.
he fixed the buzzing.
Yeah, you're welcome.
The kind that makes your skin crawl. We both freeze. I remember saying something incredibly stupid like, okay, and trying to turn it back on. Dead. Fully dead. Like I took a sick old dog and shot it. He leaned in after a second, checked it himself, pressed a couple of things, looked inside, and then just said, that was it. No yelling. No, wow, nice job. Just, And honestly, I would have preferred getting screamed at because at the very least, it would mean he cared enough to react like a human. When we get back inside and when my girlfriend's mom asked if it was working. He said, yeah, it's done now.
You know what? Shout out to this guy. He knows that you have no idea what you're doing, and yet he was still like, you know what? I don't care. I'll let him have it. Whatever.
He said it's done now.
It's done now.
He's like, instead of saying, yeah, this guy broke it, it's just like, yeah, I can just see Dad being so depressed.
Yeah, it feels
Just
like you walk in, it's done now.
He killed it.
It's done now. Thanks to this guy. Handyman.
Anyway, everyone kind of laughed a little bit, but in that fake dinner table kind of way where no one wants to make it worse. My girlfriend looked at me. Are you serious right now? And I wanted to evaporate. The rest of the dinner was awkward as HE double hockey sticks. Like no one said anything mean, but he got way quieter, and I could feel that shift where someone decides what box to put you in, and now you live there. Later in the car, my girlfriend told me that stereo was old and sentimental, and he had it forever. Maybe since before she was born or close to it. I don't remember exactly because by that point, I was busy trying not to throw up. She's just making it worse.
We could fix it. He pulled out a plug. He could fix it.
Those old ones, a lot of those cables are soldered on there.
Oh.
So, but I love how girlfriend's just like, yeah, he loved that thing so much.
That was his favorite thing ever.
That was his dad's.
Yeah.
That's the last thing from his dad that he ever had.
He saw his dad when he was 20 years old, and his dad went off to war, and that's the last thing he ever gave him.
His first memory was that stereo.
Goodness gracious. She wasn't yelling, which somehow also sucked more. She was just like, why would you say you knew how to fix it if you didn't? I had no answer except the real one, which is because I'm an insecure idiot who wanted her dad to think I wasn't useless for like 5 minutes. By the way, you're not useless to us, but you will be if you don't listen to some more stories just like this. Go to your favorite podcast platform right now and search up Storytime. Would you have done this?
Would I have done this?
Yeah.
Would I have told a dad that I knew how to fix something that I didn't know how to fix?
Would you tell a mom you knew how to bake something and then she'd try to bake it from
No,
memory?
I'd be like, I've never made that, but I'll try.
Wow, she's such a good person here. I can't blame him. I feel like he yanked it too hard. I wouldn't have done that. I would have looked at him and been like, actually, I don't know what to do.
Yeah. I wouldn't have just pulled wires, but OP did. And now you just kind of have to apologize and maybe say like, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't know what to do. I just wanted to help, but let me pay for it to get fixed.
Kumbi Fun says he actually never listened to music on that stereo. Only recordings of his dad's voice to fall asleep every night to this day.
These are all the things the girlfriend is saying. Tough.
Good morning, Petty Potatoes. You failed the test.
Sure did.
Honestly, yeah.
Sure did.
Sounds like it.
Pretty rough.
So yeah, now instead of impressing him, I basically walked into his garage, unalived his sentiment stereo, and probably got permanently filed under the category of this guy should not be left alone with batteries. And that's the end of the story.
Tough luck, OP. Apologize, get a fixer. Just go take it into a shop or something, or say you'll pay for it to be fixed if it can't be.
I don't think he would like that. You don't.
I would give him
Dads
the
like
money, though.
this.
I would give him money.
Dads like this aren't. It's not that easy. It's a project.
Dads like this can't be paid off. I feel this is what you do. You learn how to solder and you try to fix it yourself.
Oh, and then you make it worse.
You know how many hours you have to put into that?
I know, but it's more about what you're saying to the dad by doing that.
It's a work week.
It is a work
Yeah.
week, but you're just like, hey, I respect you and your daughter. I messed up.
Let me
If
fix
your
it.
whole thing is like, I don't want to seem useless, learn how to rewire an old stereo, dude.
Agreed. Kim Fine says, I'm picturing Dad as Red Foreman from That 70s Show, and I completely see that.
I agree.
My boyfriend's mother spies on our bank account transactions. I want to report her.
She might have stole from you.
For some context, my boyfriend, 24 male, and I, 23 female, have been together for 5 years.
Whoa! That means you guys got
Dang.
together at like 18.
Yeah. We have our own home and an 8-month-old son. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
You have
Wow.
done it all. My boyfriend's mom is the kind of woman who has always kept note of everything going on and tends to be controlling. She also works at the bank we both have accounts at. By the way, this comes from Grognaka. Oof. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
And I'm Vincent.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, For years, even before we started dating, she has kept tabs on his account. Well, like, duh? I mean, he was like, I don't know, 18 or 19 at the time, so it does make sense why she would help out then.
No, I disagree. I don't think parents should see children's bank accounts.
At 18 or 19?
Yeah, no.
What's the age? Like, because kids get bank accounts. Like, I had a bank account when I was little. Because
Yeah.
I would like start doing, I like work for my dad and I'd save money. But at what age is the cutoff? You think it's 18?
My mom set up a bank account with me at 16,
They have to have an access to that. You can't have it.
but she didn't look at it or anything. She had access, but she never looked at it.
Oh,
And then
interesting.
as soon as I was 18, she's like, I'm off of it.
And just, I guess kept tabs versus helping manage is different.
No.
I think that when you're below 18, you should help your child manage their bank account.
Nope.
I think they probably don't know how to use a bank account.
She was like, here's how you balance a check.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Dang, okay.
I don't need to
well.
look at it. My mom knew what's up. Shout out my mom.
He would make a purchase, and within a few hours to a day, she would call or text and reprimand him for making a purchase she didn't approve of. That's weird. I was never one to speak up to her about it, despite being weirded out by it, because I chalked it up to her trying to be helpful. To this day, she is still often viewing his account.
Oh, mommy.
See, that's weird.
May I buy a PS5, please? I've worked
Please?
very hard for it. Mommy.
Yeah, now that he's 25, she should not have access to accounts.
Dude, if my mom still had access to my accounts, she would scream at me all the time.
I did want to say, how was that going for you?
What?
That she didn't help you manage it.
I'm fine. I'll figure it out.
However, in December 2024, I got a payout from a car accident that was deposited into the account at that bank.
Oh, no.
I used the money for necessary maintenance on my car and vet visits. She messaged my boyfriend about a week later saying that I was going through the money awfully fast. This immediately upset me. For those that don't know, when you work at a bank, it is illegal and a violation of policy to view family members and coworkers' bank accounts. Oh.
I mean,
Because of
there's
these
your
rules-
answer. Yeah.
Yeah. Because of these rules and the invasion of my privacy, I kindly messaged her and asked that she stayed out of my account. She left me on red, and I know she was talking behind my back to my boyfriend's family, but I needed to set a boundary. Things were fine for a while until a few days ago. My boyfriend's mom messaged him and told him to make sure we got our car loan paid before 30 days, and we had literally paid it that same day. At this point, I had had enough of this woman being in our account.
Low-key, sounds like you all are in a relationship.
Yeah.
It's you, him, and his mom.
This is totally inappropriate, and Ultraviolet says she's abusing her position working at the bank to check their accounts. Yes. I also messaged my boyfriend that night saying, I understand she's trying to help, but if your mom is in our accounts again, I'm going to go to the CEO. It's a small chain. She's not supposed to be in coworker or family accounts. We were specifically told that. It's an invasion of privacy. I know she's used to handling and keeping an eye on everything, but this isn't hers to handle. I tried to be as calm as possible, but I was furious. She has no business being in our accounts when we're grown adults with our own home and child. My boyfriend called her the next morning and she was upset at my threat to tell the CEO. Apparently, she had been helping out a loan officer and was given a list of accounts to contact regarding a late loan. However, it is her responsibility to uphold the policy and not access accounts she shouldn't be in. She should have told the loan officer that she wasn't supposed to be in the account and had someone else handle it. But instead, she texted my boyfriend about it. I have explained until I am red in the face that it is strange that she keeps tabs on our accounts, and it makes me uncomfortable to have somebody up in my business that has no reason to be there.
Yeah, it
Yes.
does. This is weird.
Very strange. My boyfriend doesn't understand how it's weird and says I'm overreacting, and his friend says that maybe it's just their dynamic.
What kind of friends do you have?
They're all being controlled by their mothers.
Dude, absolutely not. I am huge on the minute you get married, it is you and your wife and your finances. And that's how it goes. And your parents had the job to make sure you guys knew how to do that. It doesn't sound like she wants to give you the job.
She's not trying to hand that over. I call that what it is. Am I the a-hole for telling her to stay out of the accounts and finding it weird?
No.
And yeah, you're not.
You have every write in the book to do it because you are his wife and you have an 8-month-old. Don't let that 8-month-old take your baby's money away.
Wait, what?
Yeah, run that back.
Say that again?
Don't let your mother-in-law take away your baby's money.
There we go.
There we are.
Sorry, I said that wrong.
Don't let that other 8-month-old take your baby's freaking thief of a baby.
Oh,
Dude,
man.
this 8-month-old is doing wire
He's doing
fraud.
crime. Yeah, I fully agree, Riley. And also, she's literally doing crime. She's literally doing something illegal.
How much jail time do you think we could get her?
I don't know. I assume she would just get fired.
Oh, I was thinking 10 days.
Let's get her 10 days. Edit. I'm unemployed at the moment since my job laid me off right after my maternity leave. Sounds
That's
illegal.
illegal.
Yeah.
You can sue for that.
But I had a split deposit that only put enough money in there to pay the loans. I had to deposit the car accident check into that account because my other bank wouldn't allow me to deposit a check over $5,000. Edit 2. I went to the bank today to close the account, but since I'm tied to the car loan, I can't close it. But any money I come across is going into my other account, and this one is staying empty. My boyfriend also talked to his mom at the bank today, and when she told the CEO about my threat, he laughed. It seemed to be a bias situation, since the CEO and his mom are friends outside of work, and I'm just a joke to them.
Oh my gosh. Go to another bank.
Honestly, yes. Why are we still using the bank that your mother-in-law works at when she's actively, getting her hands onto your stuff?
Is the APY on that savings account worth it? Is it above 7%? I would say that if it's above 7%. If it's not,
Get out of there.
Also, start collecting a paper trail, because if the CEO of this bank is letting this slide, you can really get after this bank legally because they're infringing on your rights.
Get some money and then put it in your bank.
Well, put it not in this
A
bank,
different bank.
another bank.
There's more underlying drama about the state of his family, but everyone caught on pretty quick that my boyfriend doesn't want to establish boundaries. I'm going to be weighing some serious decisions over the next few days about reaching out to the FDIC. I hate confrontation, but enough is enough. By the way, I've had enough of you guys not listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Because you can go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
I am so confused. Why does the boyfriend not see this as a problem?
Because he's been trained to think it's okay.
Oh my gosh, brainwashed.
Brainwashed.
Oh.
Tough.
Also, how did your friends not know? Are they all banking there?
They're all
Do all their
banking.
moms work there too?
Mm-hmm. It's tough, but also there's a very easy solution, which is take your money to a new bank.
Yeah.
And there you go.
She can't close it because of the loan. She's now using another account, Riley. I'm just trying to put out there
Tough.
what's happening. If the FDIC is always feeling froggy and this comes out with a paper trail, get a lawyer.
Yeah, lawyer. I would say lawyer.
Ming Ming says, OP, you can have multiple banks, haha. If you have a loan there, then just put minimal amount for loan payment.
It's a good point.
Good.
But we've got an update. Had some serious discussions with my boyfriend all morning about the fact that his family doesn't view us as adults or respect us as parents.
What?
Doesn't seem like it. Both of us have agreed to work on not being pushovers with our families for the sake of our child, and if they break rules or boundaries we set around our child, they are simply not going to be allowed to see him. Still working on convincing him to move banks since we have more than just the car loan there, and still weighing options on contacting the FDIC. And that's the end of the story.
That was nice. Okay.
Seems like OP's going to be, she's got a plan. So that's good.
That is good. Good job, OP. I am so
Woo.
proud of you.
I think she can still get as Ming Ming said, she can still move some of that money. But either way, even if you can't move the money, definitely it's illegal. So
Yeah, you can definitely at least start the transfer process.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tell Angie we say congrats on the new gig and we miss her pretty face. She will be here tomorrow. We'll see if she'll pick up. She just texted me. I'm bored at work. Oh, there she is. Yep. Here, everyone, tell her you miss her. Everyone's saying they miss you, Angie.
I am not supposed to be on this call right now.
Oh my God, she's doing illegal.
Tell us about your job. What do you do?
I have to take a phone call. Bye, I love you.
Love you too.
And there you go.
There we go. We got her on the phone, everyone.
But we got to get into another story in a little bit.
My boyfriend dumps me at the same time every year. This time, I Found out why.
Why do you keep going back to him?
My boyfriend, 21 male, and I, 22 female, have been together for 5 years. It's always
Damn.
been great. We've been together, and there's no one else in the world I'd rather be with. We make each other laugh. We like the same things. We have our own hobbies, so we don't drive each other loco. And we've been through so much as a couple.
What's the catch?
By the way, this comes from I Am a Starfish. And if you want to submit your own stories, please go to the r/okstorytime subreddit. I'm Riley.
I'm Sophia.
And I'm Vincent.
And we're here to be,
Funny.
and you're here to,
Respond in the comments.
and OP says, I am in graduate school. I stayed away from him. About a 4-hour drive. We went into a long distance fairly easy. So it blindsided me when he suddenly told me he didn't know if our relationship is what he wants.
What? Why?
He's always struggled with the fear of commitment. But haven't you guys been together for 5 years?
Yeah. But this was I think this was the first time.
Oh, okay.
I think.
You're not telling us. You're targeting present tense.
We don't know. We don't know yet.
Something I've tried to support him through by trying not to pressure him into moving forward. The problem is that every year for the last 3 years,
Okay.
he's gone through a struggle with wanting to be with me. He wants to take a break from our relationship and be separate for a while, which I've agreed to for the last 2 years. Every year so far, he's come back to me saying he was being stupid and he regrets ever being on a break. We talk things through and move forward.
No. OP, what are you doing?
Like clockwork?
Yeah, what? Okay, one, is it the same time every year? Because that means something. And two, after the first time that he comes back, we can't keep taking him back, OP. Have some self-respect, girl.
He looks like Pedro Pascal.
Still, Pedro Pascal better not be playing around with my heart.
I thought after last year we'd be done with it. But today he gave me the same speech he's always given me about wanting a break and wanting space. I put us on the break this time because I didn't want to beg him to stay with me. I'm blindsided by this whole thing.
How are you blindsided? It's happened every year for 3 years.
And I'm so confused about where it comes from.
I don't know.
Girl, do some investigating work. Get your girlfriends on it. What the heck?
Stop it. Just stop.
Oh my gosh, we just got a $20 donation from Chaos Kitten. It's for you.
Paltry donation to the Worm Queen Broken Wheel Fund. Thanks. I appreciate it.
It's gotten her out of a lot of work recently. I was like, hey, could you help do that?
Only moving things.
I can't.
I just can't move anything.
My arm.
Yeah.
Between you, Dakota, and Keon, we got a
I'm here.
complete team.
I'm here.
It's like Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Except for each one of you, instead of having a power, it's a
It's
disability.
useless.
You can't move.
Keon's
Dakota's sick.
disability is just far away.
Yeah, far away. Savannah is that she's new. Me is that I'm stressed out because my team's falling apart. And Vince is just here. Vince is our glue at this point,
He's our
everyone.
glue.
Thank you, Vincent, for being here. Okay, so OP's confused of where this is coming from. We're so great for 90% of the year. And then at the end of March, comes around and he freaks out and wants to break up with me.
End of March. What happens at the end of March?
We just hit that.
Yeah.
Easter.
Springtime,
Easter.
Lent,
It's not
Lent.
close enough to like February,
Give me-
for Valentine's Day.
end of March. Okay, good point. Easter, probably another girl
Yeah.
coming home for Easter,
Yeah, because he's 21.
and he hooks up with her.
Yeah, he's 21 because she's 22. Yeah.
Jellybutt March Madness. He just wants to watch the games.
Yeah, he's like, I don't have time for a relationship. I've got to watch March Madness. Springtime, spring break. That's a good guess, guys. Because
Spring
he's still,
break.
he either is still in college or is like just freshly out of college.
Yeah, it's 21 and 22, so like
Yeah.
they're still in college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point. He says he loves me and always will, but doesn't know what he wants. / if he comes back again, do I take him back?
No,
I don't know what to do.
stop taking him back.
Is this Kelly from The Office?
Literally, move on, girl. That's all I have to say. Move on. It's exhausting.
Yeah, OP, you know there's other people in the world, right?
There's so many other fish that will stay with you. Please.
And they're probably good looking
Yeah.
and have more personalities.
Just try it out.
I really can't think of another theory. Spring break feels like
Spring
the best
break
theory
feels
here.
Good. Yeah. Solid.
He's definitely in doing something with another girl, for sure.
Feels like it.
He's definitely holding a torch for someone else. If it's like, I don't know if you're what I want, that's messed up.
It's a good
Like,
point.
I get like being someone who's been with his partner for a long time, and we've talked about marriage and stuff. The question of us not being together is not a question. 5 years, you should know by now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another thought that I had, if you go on a break with someone and during that break they, are with another person, that just shows you
That they don't want to get back together.
they don't want to get back. And even
Yeah.
if they do at the end of it, that means they were still looking at other options.
Mhm.
They were looking at better opportunities than you.
Yeah,
And they've realized, oh, there are better opportunities out there. I'm going to settle for you.
I don't love it.
Don't do it. If you go on a break and they hook up with someone else, don't take them back. That's my rule. Skipping frat boy, yes. So deleted says, always the same timing? He's up to something.
Yeah.
Some trip, event, regular visit home by his ex, something he's not admitting. Anyway, this whole thing is a setup. You've been together since you were kids, and you've changed, grown, and, in my honest opinion, probably grown apart. Most teen relationships time out when you go to college. This one has lasted longer than most, but it is still, in my opinion, overdue to end things anyways. On and off relationships never end well. Hope he says this time of year is when he gets really busy and overwhelmed with school.
So he is in school.
I attribute the timing to that. I don't suspect anything else. He's going behind my back. He's a really good person and not at all the type to be sneaky. I told him not to contact me unless he's willing to fight for me this time. I just would feel really stupid if I'd wasted 5 years.
Sunk cost fallacy, OP. Let's stop thinking about it that way. You're young. You're 22. Break up with this guy and move on. You'd be wasting time staying with him.
Yeah, you have so much time ahead of you right now. It's been about 4 months since my first post, and I thought I'd post an update. Looking back on this post, I can't believe what a difference 4 months has made. After posting it, I read my own words and realized that the relationship was over.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone could be nice up front and still be sneaky.
Yes. True.
I was making excuses for him and justifying staying miserable in the relationship because I just loved him so much. We had a talk when I visited my hometown and broke up. We both were emotional, but knew it was for the best. And I was content, thinking we were going to spend time being single and discovering who we are as individuals after being so close for so long. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. I'd found out he'd been cheating on me for at least a couple of months before telling me
Yup.
he wanted another break.
Yup.
There it
Yup.
is.
Oh my
Well,
God.
it is.
Not the type to be sneaky. He's a good person.
Yeah, no, he's a sneaky. He's a stinker.
A stinky
Sneaky
sneaker.
sneaker.
Do we say that at the same time?
What?
Stinky sneaker?
We got a pair of shoes in the room, everybody.
Crazy.
He began officially dating the girl about 3 days after we broke up, and he moved in with her after a couple of months of dating?
Bestie.
What?
Girly.
Oh!
Take solace in the fact that this guy is a mess and you're better off without him. You are way better off without him.
He's always been super resistant to commitments before, so that came as a shock. My self-esteem took a huge hit.
Yeah.
Time to hit the gym, girlfriend.
Take some time alone.
I need some time alone because I want to listen to more stories just like this. The best place I can go is my favorite podcast platform. That's Apple. And I'm going to search up Storytime to listen to more stories like this as I hit the gym.
Do it.
Okay, 4 months. She grew.
Yeah.
What do you expect 6 months from now?
I hope you're taking time. After a 5-year relationship, or I hope you're taking a minute.
Yep. Heal yourself.
Yeah, do you for a bit. You don't need to be
You do
chasing
you.
anything right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so now things are different. I discover new things about myself every day on dating myself.
Yeah.
So when people say that, I kind of get grossed out.
Yeah. You're not dating yourself. You're alone.
I spend time with my friends now who make me feel loved and important. I'm truly happy for the first time in a long time.
I love
Aw,
that.
He was such a good person. He didn't make you feel happy. What?
Yay.
At first, I wanted to start dating again, and I told myself I was ready. But the truth is that there's so much I don't know about myself yet, and I want to get to know me before I focus on another relationship. Anyways, thank you for the people who commented and let me know that something was going on. As obvious as it was to them, I was completely blindsided. I'm just grateful to be out of that situation, and I'm excited for what's ahead.
Yeehaw.
I'm telling myself it was something that had to happen for me to finally have a reason to get over them.
And I think you needed it, honestly. Sometimes you need that, like, bad thing that they did to just say, oh, you know what? I'm not into them anymore. Bye.
Yep, that happens. Sophia needs that.
What?
Yeah.
I need it?
Well, no, you don't need it. Sorry. Don't need it. But it helps.
I had it already, like, a year ago. You said I need it now.
You know what helped me? I realized my ex was going to be a theater teacher for the rest of her life. She was happy with that. I'm like, all right, so that's something I want to do.
Well, there you go. But that's the end of that story, folks. And we got some comments.
Yay! No, not the theater thing. That she was going to be with her family for the rest of her life. That was like, oh yeah, she
Okay,
can
that
have
makes
that.
more sense.
Yeah,
I was like, what's wrong with
No,
these?
theater thing I was actually pretty happy for. I was like, oh great, you love working with kids.
But we got some comments from the video X demands I pay child support. It's not my kid. And this was posted May 26th, 2025. And this TLDR comes from story 2 in that video. OP's girlfriend of 8 years keeps giving him gifts that are really just things she wants for herself, and he's had enough. When she gives him a pencil tool he has no use for, he walks outside and tosses it in the trash. Now both families are calling him the bad guy, but here's the part nobody's talking about. She already admitted she knew he would hate it and was planning to take it back for herself all along. So who's really in the wrong here? If you're curious to know the full story, you can go watch the full video. But we've got some comments. I do remember this one. Sherbert89 says, anyone who thinks he's the a-hole for throwing out her gifts has obviously never been on the receiving end of these types of gifts. She is selfish and doesn't care about things he would like. It's clear she's buying only things she wants, even after they've talked about it. This is made clear when Opie says he's offered to make her a wish list, which she says she would never even look at. She sucked. Link's a Dragon says, story where Opie threw gift away. Opie is not the a-hole. His girlfriend has only done this since they started living together. He asked her to stop and gave her a solution to this problem. Girlfriend did this on his birthday. I would have done the same and left. It seems like his girlfriend gives him the expensive one-use items she wants for herself. And Crafty Katarina says, the gift story, I would seriously just start buying stuff for myself that's on my own wish list for her birthday. Not out of pettiness, but it seems like that's the unspoken agreement since she already indicated she's doing it on purpose. Yeah, I feel like that would be the move. And Jennifer Oliver says, keep the gifts so she can't use them. She'll stop.
Fair.
Just start like using them for yourself. Like learn how to use the drawing tool or whatever. Like pick up a new hobby.
Become the artist.
Mm-hmm.
And then put it in the museums and become a millionaire.
And there you go. You win in the end. But I think they broke up.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Well, if you want to learn more, go to that freaking video right now.
Go right
And
now.
If you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow. Hey, don't leave yet. I know you got more chores and we got more stories. So stick around.
My friend used my pictures to catfish a guy, so I confronted her.
That means you're hot.
Low key.
That means you're hot.
Kind of a compliment. I am 30 female. Now, this takes place in college back in 2020. Catfish, the TV show, would have had a field day with this one. There was a girl on my course that seemed very shy and quiet, and I befriended her based on our mutual love of colorful hair. I didn't see any red flags at first. In fact, I didn't see any red flags at all until the truth came out. We were on a course for adults. We were not fresh out of school, and I believe she was the same age as me. And let's call her Catfish. Now we're going to call her Katniss.
Katniss.
This is Miss Everdeen. By the way, this comes from user Bunny Blue Fur, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/okstorytime subreddit. Katniss was a little awkward and for sure struggled with confidence, but as an autistic woman who's no stranger to those feelings, I don't judge. She seemed like a perfectly nice friend. I almost certainly did most of the talking, but we shared the same silly sense of humor and all looked fine on the surface. That is, until I received a message one day on Instagram from a guy I didn't know. It was a couple of weeks or so after my birthday when I received his message. He pretty much opened the conversation by politely but awkwardly asking me for his own peace of mind if I knew who he was. I told him that I didn't. However, upon having a scroll through his Instagram, I did notice one connection. I recognized a photo of his cat.
Hey, I know that cat.
Hey, I know that cat.
I know that cat.
to preface this part of the story, at some point prior to this man reaching out to me, an Instagram profile by the name of Sarah something, the account no longer exists, had reached out to me on Instagram. It seemed like she just wanted to make friends. She told me she was in a band and that her Instagram was somewhat new, which could be seen from how few posts she had. She also wasn't on any other social media. And this girl, Sarah, was full of compliments and always gassing me up in my Instagram posts. The thought had crossed my mind that she was possibly into me, but again, she seemed nice, so I didn't judge despite it all feeling a bit much. I didn't reciprocate the same enthusiasm, but I was kind to her. I'm also a fellow recovering people pleaser. Well, one day, Sarah sent me a photo of this beautiful cat asking me if I'd do a drawing of, quote, her boyfriend's cat for her. At this time, I used to do drawings and paintings of people's pets and pop them on my Redbubble so that the person could get merchandise with their pet's portrait on it. It didn't seem odd that she'd ask for this, as my Redbubble was linked and I had posts showing other people's pet portraits that I'd done before. What was odd, though, and this part may have you thinking I'm an unidentified species of was that she asked me to send her one photo of myself holding up the portrait once I'd done it. This is something I would, of course, find really red flaggy these days.
Maybe I'm naive. That seems very innocent to me.
Exactly. I think the only reason that this is red flaggy in hindsight for OP is because she's had this entire catfishing incident happen.
Yeah.
Now OP's always going to be like, yeah, but are you actually trying to steal my identity?
Yeah.
How did she spin this? She wanted to, quote, promote my Redbubble. And because she was in a band, I believed her. So don't come at me. We're not. Despite her lack of presence on social media, I somehow still thought that she had some sort of reach or something. What could possibly go wrong? I, with no shortage of sent her the photo she'd asked for, and she was really pleased. I'd popped this sweet cat's portrait on my Redbubble and went about my life. Back to the guy who reached out to me asking if I knew who he was. When I replied to him that I didn't recognize him at all, but that I did recognize this photo of his cat as it's the exact photo Sarah had sent me, I made a point to ask him if he was Sarah's boyfriend, which seems logical, right? He told me that he wasn't Sarah's boyfriend, that he had, however, spoken to Sarah, but only online, the same as me, and that this cat was his cat.
I would be creeped out if someone asked me to do a pet portrait of their cat. I did it, and then later on from someone else saying that wasn't that person's cat, that was my cat.
Yeah, I think just like having a deception as strange as this one like revealed would be like a whoa, like what?
It's not a reality.
Why are you lying so hard?
Thing,
like,
but it's like a wait, what?
Yeah, it's like if you can lie about that, what else are you lying about? Like, after some perfectly polite back and forth, he couldn't decide whether to give me the full story. He was a bit embarrassed. He sent me a photo that I'd posted of Katniss and myself on my birthday just a couple of weeks prior. He sent me a photo that I'd posted of Katniss and myself on my birthday just a couple of weeks prior. He asked me if this girl was my friend. When I said yes, he basically told me that he'd been under the impression he'd been talking to me for a while, but he believes it was actually my college friend, Katniss. And I was shocked. Basically, she'd used my photos to create fake accounts with a fake name. She chose the name Emily. She'd made a fake Reddit, dating site profiles, and honestly, who knows what else, all using photos of me from my social media, plus photos she'd sneakily taken of me in person?
No.
Oh my God.
What a violation.
Truly. I remember her taking photos while we were at college and out for my birthday, etc. I found it a bit intrusive, but honestly, I didn't expect that she meant any harm with them, so I didn't think too much of it. Well, now all the sneaky photo taking of me made sense. Katniss was also recording videos of me on my birthday and sending them to this guy, pretending a friend of hers was taking these videos of her. Through talking to this man, I also discovered that Katniss was sending nudie pics that I believe she just found on Google. I don't post explicit photos of myself, so they weren't me.
Or was Katniss posting photos of her body and then pretending that her face was OP?
I don't know, but this, like, it just keeps getting worse.
When
this
the
is
nudie
getting
pics
worse
got in there, it got
worse.
So much worse.
Yes, not the noodles, dude.
Not
Oh
the
my
noodles,
God.
Not the noodles.
In conversations with this guy who she was catfishing as me, Katniss also included actual photos of my family members, where she'd tell this guy they were her family members.
John, you've been dancing a lot.
I'm going to give you
do a live demonstration and you're going to see it too.
Show me those hips. Oh, damn. That is a good move. But you know what is also an amazing move?
What is that, Sam?
Becoming an OK Storytime member.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
And it's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Well, let's get back to the story.
He sent me the receipts. When I learned this, I was even angrier than I was when I thought she was just using photos of me and some strangers from Google or whatever. Where does Sarah come into it? Well, in case it wasn't already obvious, Katniss was Sarah.
Yep.
I'm guessing the photos of Sarah was some other unassuming girl who was probably actually in a band, unaware that her photos were being used to create this fake account. As Katniss was having this fake online relationship of sorts with this guy pretending to be me, well, as Emily, to prove to him that he was talking to me, she sent him the photo that I'd sent Sarah of me holding up the portrait of his cat. I'm sorry if that's really confusing, I know. But again, I think you're being that hard on yourself. You have the hindsight now, but it's like, that doesn't seem that weird.
I think anyone could have been bamboozled by this.
Yes, you're a victim of identity theft.
Yeah.
If only temporarily, at the time, this worked to put the guy's mind at ease. Of course, because of the photo, it looked like he was in fact talking to me. Sarah had, I guess, reached out to him in some other way at some point too, not mentioning anything about his cat, as the guy was aware of Sarah's account. How'd this guy finally find out that he was being catfished all along? He happened to stumble across my actual Instagram and saw my actual name.
Oh, this poor guy.
He, like, just...
To be deceived like that must be so embarrassing. Not that it's your fault, but it's just like,
it just feels like a violation.
It is a violation.
Such a violation.
It is.
He had to scroll through my posts and quickly realized he'd been catfished. He was undecided whether or not to reach out to the real me, but for his own peace of mind, he wanted to know who he'd really been speaking with. Katniss had made one mistake when talking to this guy as me, whereby she'd sent him one explicit video of herself, but very close up. Okay. Katniss and I looked absolutely nothing alike, so it was risky for her to send any video of her actual self. I guess Katniss thought if it was close up enough with terrible lighting, he wouldn't notice. Well, Katniss's hand was in the video, and you can probably guess what else, but she had a tattoo on the back of her hand that could be seen in this photo that I'd posted of the two of us from my birthday. As this guy had come across my actual Instagram just a couple weeks after my birthday, it took him no time scrolling to find this post of Katniss and I. That's how he realized that not only was he for sure being catfished this whole time, but Katniss knew and was friends with the girl she was pretending to be, aka me.
Dude, this man has like the photos on his whiteboards with all the connections. There's like a photo of the tattoo.
He's got the
photo
red
of them
string
together.
like
This
going
red string is
across.
connecting it
and-
all.
yeah.
He's like, I think I've been bamboozled.
He's going, Eureka! I see the truth.
The tattoo revealed the truth.
He's cackling like Dr. Frankenstein. So, as you can imagine, this revelation was a major shock to me. I truly didn't think Katniss was this secretly unhinged, but I guess I didn't really know her at all. Another friend of mine had also told me that she got a bad vibe from Katniss, as she thought she appeared to be copying how I dyed my hair. To my friend, Katniss was giving, quote, fan behavior. As this guy is telling me what he's discovered, I'm getting some anxious messages from Katniss asking if we could chat. I wonder about what?
I think she just a new lunch place opened and she wanted to go.
Whoa, what convenient timing, Katniss.
She wanted to go see the new Bob Dylan movie, maybe?
Yeah. I guess that he'd given her the heads up that he'd found my actual profile or something. I finally saw her messages and I asked her if we could video chat. She seemed a little caught off guard, but she agreed. I confronted Katniss about what I'd been shown and she was defensive. I saw a side to her I hadn't seen before. She remained calm physically, but as soon as I told her what I'd found out, she was quick with the attitude. She kept repeating something like, quote, well, how do you know it was me though? So my heart rate was going a bit crazy as I just hadn't seen this side of her before. And on top of this absolutely deranged piece of information I'd acquired, I was just shook. I matched her energy somewhat and told her I knew everything and had been sent the receipts. That being said, I was still way nicer to her than she deserved. Due to the fact that Katniss had also used images of my family, I told her that I was going to report it to the police. Je téléphone les police. I didn't say it like that. Now, after the police were brought up, she was worried. As you like to say, I believe that was the consequences of her actions. The main issue was that Katniss had included photos of me with my mom and little sisters. My mom was the face of a charity at that time, and Katniss had been just awfully abusive to this man behind my photos. I guess whenever she was displeased with how much attention he was giving her, she'd get abusive. The receipts were horrible. I'm talking about wishing illness on him, being the usual unhinged stuff. Why? And this guy's continuing to talk to her? What's this guy? Guy, what are you doing, guy?
Dude, as soon as like the verbal abuse comes in, paired with the identity theft, is like, this is getting darker as it goes on.
Yeah, I knew from this guy that he'd been catfished by her, of course, but who knows how many other people she'd catfished as me. Behind my photos and Google found noodle pics of other women, whilst also claiming my mom was her mom. She was just being a cretinous human being. Had that ever come back around to me or my family, it could have been dangerous. Some of the things she was saying to this guy were vile. For all I knew, she could have done the same thing to others who lived in close enough proximity to me that they could have one day saw and recognized me or my family. Spoiler, police considered it a civil matter and couldn't do anything unless we were able to prove financial damages or receipts of damages to my mom's place of work. Fortunately, nothing like that ever came out of this horrible situation. I was already dealing with some degree of agoraphobia, and this was a new fear unlocked, a total violation and betrayal. I went no contact with her straight after that. I hope she stopped catfishing, but I'll never know for sure. But I know something for sure.
Tell us.
That will never stop, which is the full episodes with stories like this that are uploaded on the daily to platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts, or literally wherever you get your podcasts from. And all you need to do if you want to listen to them is search OK Storytime on any of those respective platforms, and there you have it. You know, we have talked a little bit about her perspective, but let's talk about OP's perspective. Like, clearly, I mean, OP went to the police, did not get anything done there, but it's like, what do you do? Like, do you take things into your own hands, like a
vigilante type?
So, yeah, because I mean, I feel like people need to know that this person is like, could be out there like stealing your.
That's so interesting. That's so not how my mind works. My mind works like, wow, I am scared. I unlocked a new fear. I'm going to distance myself away from this person as much as possible and hope I never come in contact with them again.
She did delete the fake profiles that she had of me that I or this guy could find. But apparently, catfishing can be addictive or something. So who knows if she ever actually stopped. I hope that me mentioning the police scared her off from doing something like this to someone else. But as I have nothing to do with her, I'll never know. I guess this guy and I trauma bonded somewhat over the deception because we actually started talking for real and grew quite close, ironically. We naturally drifted apart very much amicably some months afterwards. But he was a very genuine and respectful guy. I feel awful to this day for how Katniss treated him whilst hiding behind my face. I hope she got the help that she so clearly needed and didn't do this to another soul. But that is the end.
My friend and her boyfriend acted inappropriately at my wedding, so I ghosted them.
Ooh, it's me, the ghost.
I, 26-year-old female, got married 5 months ago to my now husband. My best friend, let's call her Abby, 25-year-old female, was one of my bridesmaids. We'd been best friends for 5 years after meeting in World of Warcraft, and she felt like family to me. By the way, this comes from u-happyhorse41. If you want to submit your own stories, go to r-okstorytime subreddit. So I live in the Midwest and she's down south. Over the years, I flew out to see her a few times because she couldn't afford the trip to visit me. Abby had a rough past, leaving home, an abusive father. But despite it all, she was kind, funny, and someone I could talk to for hours. When I got engaged, I didn't hesitate to ask her to be a bridesmaid. My husband was a little unsure since he never met her in person, but I brushed it off. Abby was amazing. How bad could it be? The bachelorette weekend. I was so excited to fly Abby out for my bachelorette party. It was her first time meeting my other bridesmaids and family, and I couldn't wait to have her there. But from the moment she arrived, I realized she wasn't the same Abby I'd known. She kept steering every conversation towards spicy sleep, specifically her spicy sleep life and loudly talking about how she wanted to get her genitals pierced. She dropped F-bombs in front of my grandma and mother-in-law as she didn't seem to read the room. So I'm not a prude and I really don't care what someone does with their body or who they're with, but why talk about that in front of people you've just met?
Yeah, exactly.
Let alone grandmas and mother-in-laws. The worst part was that I couldn't relax or enjoy myself because I spent the whole weekend worried about what vulgar or inappropriate thing Abby would say next. I couldn't just hang out with my other bridesmaid or let loose. I told myself she'd tone it down for the wedding since how could she not? It's a wedding. Spoiler, she didn't. The rehearsal dinner. When the wedding weekend rolled around, I was optimistic. This was also the first time meeting her boyfriend. Let's call him John, 26, male. I thought maybe John would balance her out or rein her in, but I was so wrong. Yeah, the two options are like, honey, chill. Or the other option was like, yeah, honey, tell him.
Yeah.
If anything, they fueled each other. I'm a super relaxed bride. I went with the flow, didn't stress about the little things, and genuinely just wanted everyone to have a good time. I wasn't going to micromanage people's behaviors. But Abby and John took it to a whole other level. To note, I learned a lot of this story after the wedding. I was devastated. For people out there, please tell the bride when something this bad is going on. I should have punted her out of my wedding party after the bachelorette weekend, but I wish I had uninvited her to the wedding after hearing all of this. At the rehearsal dinner, Abby and John decided to tell anyone who would listen that they're in a polygamous relationship. Again, cool for them. I'm all about people living their lives how they want, but why would you preach about it to strangers at a wedding weekend? Actually,
That doesn't feel that weird.
I don't agree with OP here.
Yeah.
That is just them talking about their relationship and the status of the relationship. And I don't think it's offending to be like, hey, I have an alternative relationship orientation that is not monogamy. It is polyamory. It felt really awkward and made a lot of family members uncomfortable. Not out of judging, but out of the randomness of the comments. So to make things worse, I later found out they were loudly flirting with one of the waitresses and talking about bringing her back to the hotel. Whether it happened or not, I don't know, nor do I care to know. The wedding day. The actual wedding day should have been the happiest day of my life. But Abby and John still found ways to add unnecessary stress. We are at the venue pre-ceremony. John volunteered to grab the Jell-O shots my dad had forgotten at the hotel that we wanted for the post-ceremony trolley, but instead of coming right back, he took over an hour because he stopped at a liquor store. My dad was panicking, thinking John would miss the ceremony, only to learn he decided to get himself booze over rushing back to the venue. At the reception, Abby openly asked multiple guests where she could buy some hoo-ha. At my wedding, I was horrified. But some of the other things I was like, but for this one, just loudly asking people like, may I buy some?
Yes.
Where
it's
can you show me?
Hi, does anyone have any felonies in their pocket? It's like, dude, at this point, this person needs to be like, hey, we'll see each other later. I think you need to be gone.
Yeah. And don't even get me started on John. Earlier, he gone to the liquor store to get himself a giant bottle of whiskey and finished it during cocktail hour.
Dude!
Mind you, we had a fully stocked open bar, a no-limit open bar, and even a martini wall. He didn't even need a personal stash of whiskey, but I guess he just wanted to let loose. So now John is completely wasted by the time the dance floor opens up, which could potentially save the wedding. During this time, John kept dragging my grandma onto the dance floor even after she told him no multiple times, because of her bad hip. At first I was like, that's sweet, he's including the grandma, but she's like, my hip, and he's like, get over here.
She's actively like, ah!
She's like, you better do the Cupid shuffle with me another time.
God, dude.
When she finally gave in and the hip gave in, he danced so closely to her that she told me later how uncomfortable it made her feel. He was also soaked in sweat. He was wearing a maroon shirt and it showed everything. Sadly, my grandma was not the only victim. Multiple people complained about John trying to grind up on them. And if he wasn't trying to, Abby was.
John, you've been dancing a lot.
I'm going to give you a live demonstration and you're going to see it too.
Show me those hips. Oh, damn. That is a good move. But you know what is also an amazing move?
What is that, Sam?
Becoming an OK Storytime member.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
And it's only $5 a month. So go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Well, let's get back to the story.
Dude.
There's just throughout the night, Abby kept asking me if I had to And if I said yes, she'd drag me into the bathroom and start taking off my dress before I could get her to stop. My sister was my maid of honor, and due to my dress style, it had to come completely off to go to the bathroom. So my sister and I had to sneak away for me to use the bathroom in peace since Abby wouldn't take no for an answer. Abby would even get aggressive towards my sister if she tried to step in to help me. So she does have to take the dress off to go to because of the style of the dress.
Right. And Abby's like just trying to be like, I'm going to do it.
I'll take your dress off.
Like,
and
no,
she's like,
don't.
no.
I'll do it. And she's like, no, I will.
Yeah.
Ugh. These people are trash and need to be left in the internet where you found them.
Yeah, it's just getting more and more uncomfortable. Now the bride is uncomfortable by her own friend and is feeling like, and especially in like around like nudity and stuff and being like coerced into that. By the end of the night, I felt like my wedding had become the Abby and John show, where everyone had some insane story to tell about them. Scene, the fallout. The Tuesday after my wedding, people kept coming to me with more stories about Abby and John. I had to beg them to stop because it was running what little joy I had left from the day. I haven't texted Abby to tell her how I feel. It's not because I'm trying to be cruel or a bad person. I genuinely don't know how to approach it. I have massive confrontation anxiety. The thought of bringing this up makes me physically ill, and I've always been the kind of person who avoids arguments at all costs. I hate being angry at people, and I'm usually the first one to forgive, but this time I just can't see how I could possibly move past what happened. My husband thinks I should never speak to her again, especially for making my grandma dance when she repeatedly said no. My family is so put off by her behavior, and my family is the most laid back, amazing individuals you'd ever meet. It's really, really hard to make them uncomfortable. It's been 5 months and I've barely spoken to Abby. She still reaches out, and even John has texted me to ask if everything's okay, but I can't bring myself to respond. I'm not trying to ghost her to be mean. I just can't see any way this conversation ends well. I don't have it in me to open that door again. But by the way, if you want to open a door, you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. Open that door handle, push it open, come on in. I think OP understands that she needs to confront. So I don't think that's up to debate. She just doesn't know how.
Honestly, like sitting here, like thinking about it, it's almost like I think for OP's personal like life, they should confront to get out of their comfort zone. But like they obviously don't need to continue any relationship with these people whatsoever.
Sure. I know people will probably say I shouldn't tell her how I feel, that she has a right to know, but what she did really hurt me. Nothing she says will fix it. I don't want her in my life anymore, and that feels awful to admit because I cared about her so much. So, am I the a-hole? And we do have an edit.
Clearly no. Clearly not the a-hole.
Yes, you are not
Clearly
the a-hole
not.
for not wanting this
person low-key almost like ruined your wedding.
Ruined your wedding. Edit. To answer some questions, I haven't blocked her yet, even though it's been a while since the incident because I had hoped time would heal my anger, but months went by and I still feel the same. Time usually does not heal emotions. Just so
Nah, you can. It's okay. You can cut this person off. They're bad. They're no good for you right now.
Yes. Comments. Comment 1. I'm sorry, but what is the last sentence? She has a right to know. After all this, you think that's what people will say? People would want you to tell her how you feel, not for her sake, but for yours.
Exactly, yeah.
So that you could get closure. Also, if you're not going to talk to her, at least block her and let it go. Like another person said, what are you hanging on to? This friendship has ended. Either accept it, block her, and move on. Let her know her behavior at the wedding was unacceptable. Block her and move on. What more is left? I agree. Like, I think like a decision just needs to be made and be done with it so you can move on. Comment number 2. You do not need to talk to her. You could tell her how you feel about the way that her and her BF behaved and that they ruined your wedding memories. Tell her she need not respond because you don't want to hear excuses. You are done with her in the friendship, then block her from everything you can. If something slips through, delete it without reading it. Do not engage with her anymore. Comment 3. This isn't a confrontation. Since you're never going to see her again, you can say anything you want. Get it all off your chest, then block her. Maybe it'll inspire you to get a backbone. You should have cut her loose after the hen party. The good news is, in a few years, and the other guests will be laughing about this. OP replied, I agree. I wish I dropped her after the bachelorette party. I thought about it too, but that would have put my anxiety into overdrive, and I probably would have been the one who ended up apologizing. A backbone would be nice. Do they provide free shipping? As for laughing about it, it is quite the story. Haha. Right now, I'm still embarrassed whenever someone brings it up. I hope I could laugh about it in the future. And that is it.
Yeah.
I hope you can laugh about it in the future too.
I asked my friend for shelter during my mother's medical emergency. She agreed, but suddenly she's gone cold.
Wow, our mom is having a medical emergency.
Yeah.
She's going to pull out.
Really quick before we get into the story, there is a lot of talk of cancer and the hospital and the passing of a loved one. So if that's not something that you can listen to right now, go ahead and skip to the next story. Guys, and this is a direct from the subreddit, direct from OK Storytime.
Pinky the Slayer.
This is one of ours. I, 28 female, met my best friend Jay, 27 female, and we will call her Jenny, when we were 10 years old. We met on her first day of moving to my school, and we'd been joined at the hip ever since. She's been the closest thing I have to a sister. I'd left the hometown Jenny and I grew up in when I was 18 and moved 2 hours away. By the way, this comes from user Outlandishness58, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So I visited her and took long train trips often, but she wouldn't make the effort for me. She reasoned that I had somewhere to stay, my mom's place, but trains run between our cities every half hour, so it is more than possible to do day trips. People commute between our cities daily. To this day, she only did this trip 3 or so times to get a tattoo done or for concerts. But she never spent time with me. I did day trips nearly every second week for 5 years, but I let that pass. She also didn't try to learn about my life here, ask about my friends, or what I like to do the whole time I've been here. I also let it pass. It seemed our friendship only existed in the confines of our old city. She also became very bad at communication. I would barely get a conversation out of her for sometimes months on end. She didn't fill me in on big or small things that happened in her life, and I had to find things out myself. All that. Yet when we finally would meet up, we would get along as if no time had passed. So I let it slide. I'd also noticed that our banter had kind of changed in the last year or so. We would normally tease each other a lot, and it was low stakes, and we knew each other's boundaries. It was all just for laughs. But lately, I've felt something underlying in her jokes.
Oh.
She's judging me for not being the same girl I was as a teenager when we saw each other all the time. Reading between the lines, I feel as if she looks down on me for some reason. But it wasn't too big of an issue, so I let it pass. Now, onto the straw that broke the metaphorical camel's back. I lost my mom to cancer mid last year. And Jenny knew from the beginning, as we talked about how I was dealing with knowing I could lose the most wonderful mom in the world. Man, sorry, OP, that's terrible.
It's tragic.
Jenny came on the first day Mom went into the hospital and sat with me all day. It felt good to have the presence of my best friend, a feeling I hadn't felt in a while. Now, at this time, I was looking for a place to stay in my home city. I'm very used to commuting, but I needed to be close just in case my mother's condition changed, which it often did. It was pancreatic cancer, and it's literally the manifestation of the devil on earth, I swear. If I went home, it would take me a total of 2.5 hours to get to her. Train plus the bus to get to the train. Plus, it was post-vid lockdowns, and I didn't want to be picking up germs in public transport. I don't have a car, and bringing them to my extremely immunocompromised mother. So I asked Jenny if I could crash just for a few nights at her place. She still lives at home as her parents agreed when she was younger for her to save the money she gets from work so she could afford a house down payment. We live in a very expensive country. She said yes, and her parents said yes. I thought things were gravy. I had a place to eat and sleep in the evening, and my family from out in the area had their little Airbnb a little further from town, but it didn't take long before I suddenly felt a change.
I just remembered a very sad, tragic tale.
Oh, what is it?
I remember when a young Samuel Donner, he wanted to join the cool kids, but instead of labeling you as one of the cool kids,
They called me Salad Boy because I ate nothing but salads. Could not trade my lunch for a lunch. Really anything.
You know what community will always welcome you with open arms, Sam?
And make you feel like a cool kid?
The great people who have OK Storytime memberships.
Oh, I heard that 60 plus hours of members only content Monday, Wednesday, Fridays.
You heard right, Sam, and it's only $5 a month.
So go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join. Now back to the story.
Chomp, chomp.
It was a hard period. There was so much vitriol happening around my mother's passing. The hospital was an excruciating place to be, as people were not handling impending grief well. I felt really ignored during this whole process. I was sad and lonely when my immediate family wasn't in the hospital while these fights were happening. happening around me, and I needed someone to talk about nice and unrelated things to not think about my mother's condition. But each night I stayed at Jenny's home, I felt more unwelcome. Her parents were lovely. They made me food and chatted about how I felt for a little bit. Then we watched some crap TV before going to sleep. Then the next morning, I'd leave early to go to the hospital. Jenny rarely spoke to me when I was there. I could feel she didn't want me in her home, but she wouldn't say anything even when I asked what was wrong. It was the third night when I pried it out of her that she felt uncomfortable with me being there because she was overwhelmed thinking about my sick mother. Now, to be clear, I never want to cross people's emotional boundaries, but I was in a place where I needed security on where I was staying and somewhere non-stressful to be after the horrible days at the hospital. I wish she had just told the truth at the beginning that she wasn't comfortable, and I would have respected that, which honestly is wild for you to say.
What?
That you would have respected your best friend that you've gone out of your way to be available for years would be like, oh, actually, your mom being sick is too much of a problem for me to deal with. You can't stay at my house. That'd be like, oh, so we're enemies, actually? So you don't like me at all. Got it. Okay.
And her being silent was probably her trying to control her emotional reaction, and finally she just had to say, like, I'm just uncomfortable. And I don't know if it has something to do with like her lack of morality, but more of just like passing is hard, and some people don't have the capacity to support people.
It is hard to be around emotionally heavy stuff, right? And like, you know, losing a loved one, a sick loved one, that's hard to be around. But it's like, I don't know, it doesn't sound like OP was bringing all of that back into the home. Like she said, like literally I needed a place to go where I didn't have to think about this, where I didn't have to talk about it.
Sure.
And it's like,
but I think it's just the context around it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
It just feels
OP.
like, for me, for this to be your best friend, that's not your best friend. If this was my best friend, I get that it can be hard. That's not your best. This is not a best friend. The next day was one of the worst days in the hospital. There was worse fighting between families, and all I remember from that day was crying to a nurse and being catatonic in the corner of a room. I knew I couldn't go to Jenny. I couldn't stay with my stepdad. He was part of the hospital problems, and my family's Airbnb was full. Plus, at the time, I could not afford to contribute as I wasn't working. I was preparing to bite the bullet and go back to my city despite the terrible weather and the lateness of the night. Luckily, my cousin intercepted and told me to come to their Airbnb anyway.
Oh, good.
I had a bit of a breakdown that night, but ultimately was so happy to be around loving people in such a hard time. I wish I had just stayed with them in the first place. Maybe all this wouldn't have happened, but hindsight is 20/20. After this, the communication gaps between me and Jenny got worse. Even my aunt noticed at the funeral that Jenny seemed withdrawn from me. She didn't say hello to me. I came over to greet Jenny and her mother to thank them for coming. I was just happy to see her come to say farewell to my mother. After I returned permanently to my city, we did video chat together for a few days, and Jenny was very supportive, but then things returned to the old ways. Months passed, I'd get a message or a response here and there, but it's gotten to the point where I just don't want to tell her things anymore. I wasn't sad. I wasn't angry. I just had no desire to try and maintain this friendship. I mean, it sounds like you just finally picked up the hint. Now you're just reciprocating the same energy that you're getting, which is totally fair.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like the relationship has been distancing and no party has been making an effort to bring closeness in for a long time. So it makes sense that
if OP hadn't been doing it the whole time, there wouldn't have been. After she moved out of town, if she wasn't the one maintaining this relationship, Jenny wouldn't have. Her friend wouldn't have maintained it. I've become hyper aware of all the changes in our dynamic that I described at the beginning and what happened when I was staying at her place. But I feel guilty for making her feel uncomfortable. But I also maintain the fact she should not have treated me so coldly and should have told me how she was feeling when she started becoming uncomfortable. I needed a secure space to sleep, and I could have made other plans. Also, I did not need to go through this extra stress of feeling like a burden to her when it could have been avoided. I'm a grown adult. I would work out myself where to go. I've not spoken to her since early December. We didn't message each other at Christmas nor at New Year's, a time we'd often hang out together. She looks at my Instagram stories but doesn't interact, and I'm not upset about it. I'm apathetic to it. I'm focusing more on the friendships in my current city who don't understand why I feel guilty for being upset about the whole thing. If Jenny or any of my friends needed a place to stay while their last parent was passing away, I'd give them my bed and sleep on the floor if I had to. But I can't go around projecting my standards onto other people. That wouldn't be right of me. But by the way, it'll always be right for you to listen to full episodes with stories like this. All you have to do is go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts and search OK Storytime. And there you have the whole catalog to peruse at your leisure. We do have a little bit more story here, but I think, it's totally reasonable for the apathy to have struck, I think. I don't know what happened. I don't know if there's even a need to get to the bottom of what happened in regards to why Jenny got so cold and distant. It's just c'est la vie. Life moves on. Sometimes, people will be lined up in their lives, and at some point they'll go like that. Mm-hmm. And now they are no longer lined up. Yeah. And maybe one day they'll come back together, but it sounds like this person has zero interest in maintaining a relationship with you, OP. So by all means, it's time to focus on the people who do care about you still. Let's finish this story though. Let's get to the end here. I feel like a bit of an a-hole for not trying to communicate during the end of 2024, but at the same time, she didn't message me either. So I'm in two minds about it. I still feel upset thinking about the fact I made her uncomfortable in her own home, even when I didn't have bad intentions, though the community here might be able to shed some light on any biases I have. So nearly a year later, I still feel like I'm in two minds about how it all went south between us and that perhaps I was the cause. No, you were the only thing saving that relationship. That's the end of the story. But no, you were the only thing keeping that relationship afloat for years. So it's okay. You can let it go, move on. You'll be better for it. And, maybe one day Jenny will reach out and express herself fully to you, but it's not on you to try to coax that out of her.